Just 2 months after London Bridge terror incident, the United Kingdom's capital once again came at the target of radical Islamic terrorism. Sudesh Aman, a radicalized Muslim youth, went on a killing spree at London's Streatham residential area this week. London police described the incident as Islamic terrorism and informed that Aman shared associations with Pakistan-based Al-Qaeda and Islamic State terror groups and was previously involved in other cases of terrorism as well. A report. A fresh terror incident shook London this week when Sudesh Aman, a convicted terrorist, strapped a fake bomb and stabbed two people at Streatham, a busy London street, before being shot to death by police. Londoners condemned the stabbing attack, which police said was related to Islamist terrorism. Aman was recently released from prison after serving time for terrorism-related offences previously. The 20-year-old is an ISIS and Al-Qaeda affiliate terrorist who had pleaded guilty in November 2018 to 6 charges of possessing documents containing terrorist information and 7 of disseminating terrorist publications. Islamic State and Al-Qaeda both traced their linkages with Pakistan in South Asian region. Aman had once confessed to his family the desire to carry out acts of terror. In 2017, he had told his brother in a message, "The Islamic State is here to stay." Moreover, Aman had confided in his sibling that he would rather blow himself up in school.
At approximately 2 p.m. today, Sunday the 2nd of February, 2 people were stabbed in Streatham High Road, Lambeth. Armed officers who were part of a proactive counter-terrorism surveillance operation and were following the suspect on foot were in immediate attendance and shot a male suspect dead at the scene. The suspect had been recently released from prison where he had been serving a sentence for Islamist-related terrorism offences. The officers saw that a device was strapped to his body and called in specialist explosive officers and armed officers to deal with the potential threat that posed. Cordons were put in place and it was quickly established that this was a hoax device.
The threat posed by radical Islamic terrorism has its origin in Pakistan, which is training its youth in jihad, provoking them to undertake terror-related activities in South Asia and around the world. A second incident of stabbing on the streets of London by a radicalized Islamic youth speaks of the vicious ideology on which Muslim youths from Pakistan are being preached. These radicalized youths from Pakistan impart such preachings among a range of young Muslim men and women situated in West and other non-Muslim countries. They together become a bunch of radicalized people who carry out something called radical Islamic terrorism.
The youth of Pakistan, in the name of religion, are misguided by mullahs, by jihadi elements, and they fall prey. They are so prone to falling prey to these machinations and the calculations by jihadis that they are not able to get out. And the sole factor is that you will be blessed by Allah and you will go to heaven.
This is not for the first time that a radical Islamist had unleashed terror on the streets of London. Earlier in 2019, Pakistan origin Usman Khan had stabbed multiple people near the iconic London Bridge before being shot dead by the police. The London Bridge attacker originally belonged to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and lived there for one term before turning terrorist for the first time. After spending a part of his late teen in POK, he returned to UK, where he started preaching radical Islamism on the internet and attracted a significant following. He had plans of using land owned by his family in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir to build a terror training camp next to an existing mosque in the hope of establishing Sharia law in the region.
I think it's pretty strange that these things seem to repeat themselves and happen this often now. I think people are desensitizing to issues like this, which I think is a big concern. It seems pretty similar to what happened at London Bridge a short while ago, and it's pretty scary that it happens in your own backyard.
Pakistan has allowed its territory to become a staging point for terrorist activities. Its radicalized youth have often been unleashing terror attacks in various parts of the world that pose great threat to global peace and security, of which several world leaders have shown concern at various bilateral and multilateral meetings. After two back-to-back Islamic State attacks in London, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the government would announce fundamental changes to the system for dealing with those convicted of terrorism offences.